Hey everybody, it's tripl-L, and now let's talk Knights and Magic episode 5. An episode where we go in, we start, we meet the villains. The villains are actually way more effective than anyone could have ever actually have imagined, and we just see a lot of cool character development and cool combat and pretty much setting the stage for a couple of character arcs and then the next kind of, step for Ernesti's group. And we also have some narrative devices that are helping make things less frustrating. Overall, this episode of Knights and Magic was pretty awesome. Guys, I'm not gonna lie, I really like this. Now. I think after the first couple of episodes, after episode 1 and 2, I think Knights and Magic found its groove. Because now, we're not jumping around time periods, we're not having really jarring lines, we're just going somewhere, and now I think what's ultimately taking the story ahead isn't Ernesti, it's the characters that surround Ernesti. And this is pretty cool. In narratives that involve a character that is so overpowered, what the side characters end up doing is what can make or break a show for you. Because at a point, when you have such an overpowered character, it's just interesting to see how the people around him react, how the people around him grow. Because to a degree, the main character being so overpowered, there's not really a degree of development for the main character. For the main character, it's more like actualization or just him acting on things he already knows how to do. But when you see the side characters who are just witnessing this, their potential goes up through the roof. And when you look at this episode, that's what we're getting. The side characters are the ones who are largely winning out here. Like, they're the ones who are cool. They're the ones that kind of get you kind of invested in this show. Like, Ernesti is just Ernesti showing off that, yeah, Ernesti's impressive. We know that. But seeing the side characters still be relevant is awesome. Seeing the side characters still having their own problems visited is awesome. I like that. I like this way more. So, now we're at a point where I think the narrative or the guys making this have figured out what they can drop and what they shouldn't drop. And what's more, we are clearly expanding on material. We are now in a better pace. This show, I think, is so worth it. If you like this kind of genre, and like the people watching this video naturally are people who like this kind of genre because we're already 5 episodes in, so I'm speaking to the choir, but I think this is a good show to recommend to people who like characters being reborn in another world. This is a show that you could be like, yeah, hey, if you like robots, come and get it. Because episode 5 is also a very big mark for the robot-based combat. Man, if Ernesti saw the way that these robots were moving, he would have just been excited all the way. So, let's stop singing the praises of this episode. Let's break it down a little bit more. But I really can't think. Most series have common problems that they'll face. Dragon Ball Super will always have the common problem of its power scaling and its art. One Piece is always going to have the problem of its pacing and its art. Berserk, that's like just a mess with the CG. When it comes to Knight and Magic, their problem is going to be their pacing. But like as I said in the beginning, they largely dealt with their pacing problems in this episode. So I don't feel motivated to find problems with this. I guess you could complain that Ernesti's too overpowered, but that's kind of a staple of the genre. Like, that's not even a complaint against the show itself. Yeah, I don't really have much to complain about for this episode. So let's just talk about the things that I think are incredible. First off, let's acknowledge that this episode gave us way more competent villains than I expected. I really thought Ernesti was going to go in here and just curb stomp, but we didn't get that. Instead, we have a villain who is smart enough to just go up and then just kill the guy that's in the suit. And let's also acknowledge that their own silhouette knights are pretty awesome. You can clearly see that the enemy suits are designed to kill people. You can clearly see that. I liked seeing how easily they hijacked that one silhouette knight. That was hilarious. Not for the main characters, but hilarious in the case of Jesus Christ. These people actually meant business. These people are a legitimate threat. And then how quickly they get into the fort and everything is just, man, I felt hurt by how easily the villains got into that castle, guys. I felt hurt because it's just like, man, isn't there just an ID process? Of course, it's from what we understand from the story, no one expected this type of problem. No one expected that the enemy, or that there would be an enemy country that would go this far, that would do this. And ultimately, it's that issue of preparation. People aren't good at expecting the unexpected, especially if they've been lulled into the sense of peace and prosperity. And that's ultimately what happened here. Peace causes relaxation. Relaxation causes mistakes. You should always be focused. No one was focused. The people got in there and they hijacked a bunch of suits. Those villains were effective. At the end of the day, they were super effective. And then also, we find out that the demon bait is like highly taboo within this country, and the villains have access to it. It's like, yeah, these guys, I respect them. I respect them as villains because they gave us some trouble. I'm not gonna lie. When that lady when she slashed at Edgar and we find that suit that's lying in the road, my heart kind of sank. I thought, holy, are they actually gonna do something? Are they actually gonna kill him? But man, the sigh of relief when Edgar is okay. And this just, again, goes to show, like, these characters are putting in the work, and they are doing enough that you can get invested in them to some degree. For me personally, Edgar's whole story is about being able to keep up with Ernesti's suit, because his suit isn't upgraded yet. So I'm invested in the character. I want to see him like hit his challenges head on. And then when you see it, clearly that's where the writers are going to, because at the end, after this defeat, he's talking to his friend, and he's ultimately telling her, like, I'm gonna get that suit back for you. It's your suit. And it's just, yeah, you know, this guy got beat badly, but you know what? He's still gonna hit the ground running. He's gonna hit back out there. And it's like, yeah, you're worthy of being a main character, Edgar. I enjoyed that. He had a really good moment. He put up a fight. He got beat, but he's not gonna stay beaten. I like that. And then on the other hand, you have Dietrich, who is just awesome. Man, I like that he picked himself up. I like that he's out there. I like that he's doing something about it. And one thing that actually should be noted in terms of the movements and the animation for the Silhouette Knights is that Dietrich is moving in a much more, I guess, graceful manner. When you look at the way that his suit is moving, it's more reminiscent of the way that Ernesti can move the Silhouette Knights. So it's actually pretty good. I appreciate how they're taking advantage of the junkiness and the kind of just really robotic movements that come with CG, and then they have another Silhouette Knight that moves so much more elegantly. It does help show the difference between Ernesti's models and the mass-produced pre-Ernesti models. I really appreciate that. That's whenever you can take advantage of a flaw in a system, or take advantage of a flaw in a way of animating something, and then use it to show the difference in something better, that's just pretty smart. All right, like it's like they're taking advantage of the fact that they're cutting corners on the budget. It makes sense within the universe, and then when they don't cut corners, it's like, whoa, yeah, that looked pretty cool. So overall, Dietrich, his movement, his development, and then like the metaphor with the Guerrier moving, I guess, more fluently, is just, it's good. That's all I'm gonna say. It's good. Now let's see, anything else to say about this? Oh yeah, the twins are doing stuff. They pulled it off. They took down a Silhouette Knight. How could you not appreciate that? The twins, you know, they're not as effective as Ernesti, obviously, but they are putting in work. Again, it's all the side characters really did a lot, and they ultimately make a difference. I respect that. That's some pretty good work there. If you can make the side characters stand up to some degree to be comparable to the main character who is so overpowered, it's a good run. It's a good run, guys. Let's see, anything else to say? I guess now is Ernesti. I like that Ernesti was talking about the aesthetics of fighting a mech with a mech. I like that they had time to put in that little bit of comedic relief in there. It's just, it wouldn't be an episode without Ernesti being Ernesti, right? And then seeing him also be the one to knock out the suit, it makes sense. He says, he's going in for the technical KOs because he knows how to break the suits. He made them. He knows how to break them. I'm actually really surprised that he did not come up with a self-destruct switch. I feel that all mobile suits should have a self-destruct switch, because then all Ernesti had to do was blow it up. But you could see how that would be a problem for like Edgar's personal storyline. Good thing he didn't put it in. I'd actually like to see if he has any sort of a thought process on the inclusion of self-destruct buttons in a Silhouette Knight. I think that would be really interesting. But overall, yeah, Ernesti being a badass, we could have expected that. And there was one more character who did really well. I think it was Freholm. It's the knight from the fort itself. He was respectable. I like that even though Ernesti's bringing in such innovation, that people with skill are still a bit of a threat. People with skill can still do some damage. People with skill are still relevant. It's good because like this prevents people from feeling shafted. The worst thing that you could have in any story is like just the horrible plot lines where people are getting jealous of the main character or really frustrated with the main character and they just start doing stupid things. I much rather these storylines where the characters are also getting stronger with the main character instead of getting jealous that the main character is so much stronger. Like, it can still happen, but there's ways of making it tolerable and then there's ways of just making it annoying. Thankfully, this one doesn't seem to be going that direction so far because Ernesti seems to be cognizant enough to not be burning bridges. And speaking of burning bridges, let's talk about the most important thing that we get out of this episode. I should have talked about it earlier, is that having the villains attack now is so good for us. It is so good. Not only does it lead to the establishment of the order, it prevents the Marquise or anyone else from trying to pull rank on Ernesti. You guys, man, look, the problem here was that these kids went out to a fort that was clearly unguarded. They had no idea what was coming for them, but now we've gone back to a situation where everyone's going to be able to keep the suits in the royal capital. Having that there is it's a load off my mind. I was so happy that this happened because otherwise there would have been a precedent and everyone would have kept like just churning out the suits and pulling them out of the capital, and then we would just have more situations and the characters wouldn't get to play around with the mobile suits. I keep calling them mobile suits, but I should be calling them Silhouette Knights. I'm just happy that the author used the villains as a way of keeping the Silhouette Knights kind of centered in the city, because from the way it sounds like the development of the suits is going to be relatively secret. We know that they're still a spy, but it's going to be relatively secret, so we don't have to worry about them transporting them out. They're going to try and keep them under wraps, and part of that is making sure they're not in just some random fort out in the outskirts of the country. I am happy. In terms of the narrative, the villains showing up was the best thing that could have happened in terms of trying and keeping the suits near Ernesti. So happy. I also appreciated that the Marquise sees Ernesti as a military asset. That's pretty cool. But anyway, yeah, Knights and Magic episode 5. This is an episode for the side characters. They went out there, they had their defeats and they had their victories, and ultimately it just makes for a good episode. The Silhouette Knights, also the combat. This is an episode we see like Silhouette Knight combat. The behemoth is cool and all, but it's cooler to see Silhouette Knights fighting an enemy that's about their tier, just because it makes the fight a little bit more engaging. I enjoyed that. So overall, episode 5, I think this is my favorite episode so far. Maybe it's my favorite episode for different reasons from episode 3. Episode 3 was pretty... Wait. Actually, 3, 4, and 5 have been pretty good. Those 3 are... Yeah, I don't know. 3, 4, and 5 are all very good for different reasons. Shit, damn it. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I apologize for being so just gushy about episode 5 here, but I really enjoyed this episode. I really can't stress that enough. But guys, thanks for watching. Let's end it there. Till next time, I hope you have a great day. Whew. Yeah.